All right. Sorry, I'm so out of it that lower back just killed me. Anyway, so if you go through module 1, you've got the recordings here, and they explain to you everything you need to know about assignment 1. I only recorded them like 3 months ago when I was teaching summer semester, so nothing has changed. So this should be very helpful. Do you have any specific questions, Louise, that I could address? All right. So so what made you actually join the Collaborate session? Did you just come in just in case I had something interesting to say? I'm just trying to find out, just to pitch this talk today. How could I have joined the room before when the room was not on? You know, like I have to create a session, so the students couldn't actually come in unless they created the session themselves. Anyway, so if we look at the assignment information for assignment 1, yeah, they are in the wrong room. That's it. So anyway, if you look at assignment 1, what I suggest to students always that to use assignment 1 as a learning path. The assignment 1 is only 40%, so it's not like 50-50. So definitely second assignment will be the assignment that will decide on your final grade. Please note also I talk about the minimum 1,500 words. It's your portfolio, you can make it as large as you wish. I do know what I'm after, so I will find the bits that I'm actually after. Just a few things that I can say today, but honestly you can find all that information and more in those YouTube links. So one of the things that people always ask me, which is like, what are the things that I will be grading you on in this assignment? So these are the things that the assignment components that I will need to see, right? So basically I will be assessing whether you have your definition of literacy and whether you looked into module 2 and 3, because assignment 1 is 3 modules, module 1, 2, and 3. So I will look whether you actually, I will examine whether you actually looked a little bit deeper into the concept of literacy, and whether you addressed the literacy in research. Then what I do ask students is to learn how to work with curriculum in a bit more principled way. So as I often say, there's no one way for reading the curriculum, but there's one requirement for reading the curriculum, which means when we organize units of work or lesson plans or syllabuses or syllabi, what we need to do is to account for the three-dimensional structure of the curriculum. That's 99% of teachers and students planning disappears, which is not just the content, but really its capabilities, cross-curriculum priorities, and then content functions as a guide or as points of reference in order to actually teach those capabilities in the context of activities, which are the cross-curriculum activities. So I don't want to give you a headache today with that 3D structure, and but what I do need to point out that we will learn how to read the curriculum in a way. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Sorry, it's finance at uni. So I don't want to give you a headache, but what I want to sensitize our students to, that we need some reliable processes for designing the teaching experiences of our future students in a way that actually allows us to integrate the capabilities, the cross-curriculum priorities, and the content, right? So in assignment 1, what we will do, rather than continuously assess little beings like future students or imaginary students, what we will do is we will look deeply into our own personal life and think of a literacy activity that we engage in relatively often. Some students in the past described themselves creating brochures for an NGO, non-government organization for which they worked, or for some service. Like one student worked in health services in remote areas, and she had to produce brochures informing people living in remote areas about health services. And so basically, or some other students were writing, were choosing an activity which was about reading stories to their children. So either way, the idea is to pick a literacy activity from our own life and now use any of the curricula. We have two, the IC and Early Years Learning Framework, and assess ourselves. So it's a little bit different, right? So we're turning the arrow around and pointing it now at ourselves and going like, okay, so in terms that I will teach you using the specific process, how am I doing with my literacy, and what can I learn from the process about how am I engaging in my literacy? So that's a kind of thing that we will evaluate. Then we will look into you will look into your history as a student and assess, compare how literacy, what you know about literacy, and how literacy was taught when you were little, or how literacy is taught in schools currently. Then some reflections and requirements for references. So the references need to be inside of the text. So if you quote something, or if you define something, or if you tell me, explain some concepts, you need to cite the resource. One thing that I do not accept is dictionaries, right? So we are intellectuals, we're academics, we're not using dictionaries. Dictionaries use academic definitions, where academia doesn't use dictionary definitions. We need to construct the concepts rather than rely on dictionaries, right? This is not learning German or French. This is actually explicating concepts based on evidence and empirical frameworks that I will actually expose you to. So no dictionaries, all definitions and all concepts explained in terms of processes, and those processes need to be referenced in relation to literature. It's as simple as this. We actually have to take the lead rather than Webster or Wikipedia or something like that. There is a lightning storm in my wire. Yeah, I know. Well, Louise, when you disappear, that will be fine. Just everyone watch those lectures that are there in Module 1. But one thing I wanted to say that I shared with our on-campus students, which is, it's a trick about academic writing. So when you write, say, the first section, which is what is literacy, and you explain all those terms there, then when you talk about, you compare literacy experiences, your knowledge of literacy with the experiences you had as a school student or so on, or literacy experiences maybe now in schools, either way, please stick to the definitions and the concepts and processes you outlined here, so you can actually refer back. In your response to this question, you refer back to the concepts you have established in here. This will give unity or coherence to your writing, to your assignment, right? And it also will base your assignment in some firm concepts, so that you do not become a victim of a little bit of a naive reading of an assignment. And typically students get really good here, but here they say, oh, when I was little, we used to do these and these things. So it's not embedded in anything, and I call it chatty, and it doesn't score you points, right? So that's the trick of academic assignments. They have to create a uniform whole. So in response to this question, you rely on the concepts you established here, and the same here. Right, so you connect this in this section. Basically, you say, well, so where to from here? Like, what's the pedagogic orientation for future that I can propose, or as I can see it now, based on what I've done for this assignment? And you connect everything to respond to this particular bit. Right, so that's really important. So your assignment is coherent as opposed to naive. So that's what I wanted to say for today. Okay, thank you. So bye for now, and all the best.